everyone, Comic Reviewer here, this time reviewing on Charlie and the Chocolate Factory 2005 film review. Now, as you know, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory was a British novel from 1964 by Roald Dahl. And keep in mind, there was the original film that was known as Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, developed in 1971, and keep in mind that production and development began in 1991 by Warner Brothers, and eventually they managed to get Tim Burton to direct it and create it in 2005. Now, the premise of the film does follow closely to the book, where you've kind of got Charlie Bucket, played by Freddie Highmore, known for playing Norman Bates in the Norman Bates series, and known for voicing Astro Boy in the 2009 Astro Boy film. Now, keep in mind that Charlie's father is meant to be alive in this, so you do kind of see Charlie's dad trying to be encouraging as well, trying to help out, and pretty much like the novel, we do kind of see Grandpa Joe explain the history about Willy Wonka and explaining everything that had happened, like in the book about the Golden Palace that Prince Pondicherry had. And keep in mind that, yeah, we do kind of learn a bit more about Willy Wonka. And when you kind of got the whole competition thing about finding the 5 golden tickets, it is sort of rushed. I would say it does take a little time with it, but they do sort of rush it in. I felt with the 1971 version, it took more time with it. At time you got to see Charlie's mum, had time to, see other things going crazy and everything else, which you could understand. And when Charlie eventually does get his ticket, him and the 5 other children, that you do know who they are, do explore and seek Willy Wonka's chocolate factory. Now, the difference I would say is that Tim Burton really knows how to bring the atmosphere alive in the chocolate factory. He does manage to do a bit more of a perfect scene with the tunnel that kind of makes you feel like you're in a ride from Disney. And when you got other areas in the chocolate factory, you can tell Tim Burton and the others put a lot of effort into this to make it work. And I would say what the film does well, it actually gives Willy Wonka a past, where we see him as a young kid wanting to be a chocolate maker. And when you've got his father, Wilbur Wonka, who was a dentist, played by Christopher Lee, you can kind of tell Wilbur was meant to kind of believe he was doing the right things and kind of pushed Willy Wonka away. And when we kind of got Willy Wonka's flashbacks, this does remind me a bit of the Digimon episode My Sister's Keeper, where you had Ty kind of experience in the past he had as a kid, which I think does work. But at the same time, some of the kid actors are a bit missable. I feel Freddie Highmore isn't a bad choice for Charlie, but he comes off as a bit mumbling his lines or just sounds dull when he does it. When you got Mike TV, yeah, he's meant to be portrayed as the serious gamer, a bit more like pointing out everything Willy Wonka's doing wrong, and you can tell Willy Wonka does get annoyed with him, but when he says you gotta stop mumbling, it's like his way of saying, I don't care what you say. I feel the actress who plays Veruca Salt in this doesn't sound rememberable as the original. What made the original work, she was like if Paris Hilton was the 1970s star. This one just comes across like British for the sake of it. And yeah, most of the other 2 actors aren't too bad. For basically Violet Beauregarde, you've got the same actress known for playing the girl in Bridge to Terabithia and Danny Phantom from Danny Phantom. And I feel with the Oompa Loompas, yeah, their songs aren't bad, as when you've got Augustus Gloop, it kind of goes in this big rhythmly song. When you kind of got, like Veruca Salt's one, it does go into a kind of more psychological kind of trance music. And when you got Mike TV's one, it's a bit more heavy guitar and everything else. And what made the original work was that the original had this sort of moral for you to learn. Like, don't be a spoiled brat, don't eat too many sweets, and so on. And yeah, Slugworth in this isn't portrayed as a secret spy for Willy Wonka, instead meant to be a kind of guy getting the intel from one of the workers. And yeah, it does show Willy Wonka still holds a grudge, even to that day. And I would say there was a lot of promotional material for it. There was a game for it, for the Xbox, PlayStation 2, Game Boy Advance and that. And there were these Wonka bars that you could get in Woolworths or HMV and so many things. And yeah, and this film was one of the few movies to get a VHS release. And the VHS was still on their last legs. So I think the movie had its Wonka bars, shot them down, and left a watchable movie. So I think it deserves a thumbs up. Still good, and still alright. So, Comic Reviewer here, signing out.